What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're back with One Piece chapter 899. One chapter away from the big 900 that everybody speculates Oda has been building up towards. And chapter 900 is most probably going to be Big Mom eating the cake, seeing as that is what Oda decided to progress most during this chapter. This chapter started off with a conversation between Perospero and Mont d'Or talking about Big Mom's situation, and Perospero was basically saying that that situation can end one of three ways. The first way being that Big Mom is poisoned by the cake and dies, and the whole crew falls apart. The second being she isn't killed by any type of poison and she just doesn't like the cake, so she kills everyone anyway. And then the third one being that she likes the cake and everybody survives. Now, I obviously feel like the third option is the only possible option out of those three, whereas Perospero says that is the least likely option. But of course, us being the readers, we have way more context than he does. Like, we know that the cake isn't poisoned in the first place, so the first option isn't even possible. And Sanji is an amazing cook, so she's not gonna dislike the cake, so therefore, I'd say that the second option is kind of out of the picture as well. Therefore, the third option of her liking the cake is the only remaining option. But some people in the community also think that there is a fourth option that we don't yet know about. Whether this option involves some type of conflict, I'm not sure, but a lot of people think there is a fourth option because they don't like the idea of the finale of this arc being Big Mom eating the cake and that being the thing that solves everything. And I 100% understand that. Like, I do feel like the ending of this arc would be extremely anticlimactic if it all just ends with Big Mom eating the cake and everything is fine afterwards. So I get where they're coming from when they say that there should be a fourth option, or that there might be a fourth option that we haven't yet seen. But from what I read in this chapter, I do feel like the third option is going to be the option that Oda goes with, and that there isn't going to be any more conflict after that. And the reason why I do think this is because of Chiffon. So with Chiffon, we see that she brought the cake to Puff's Island and everybody in her city was really mad about it. And then Chiffon had this Nakama kind of speech where she said about how she believes in the cake and Sanji's ability to cook and all of that kind of stuff, and that she believes in it so much that she risks her own life being there whilst Big Mom eats the cake, as well as the life of all of the people on Puff's Island, which is supposed to be her island to protect. So I don't see Oda going down the route where this still continues in conflict just because he's had Chiffon put so much on the line for this. She's put her own morals and her people at risk because of how much she believes in this cake. And whenever Oda does things like this, it usually turns out in that person's favor. So I do feel like whatever they plan for this cake to do is gonna work. I do feel like it will solve a lot of the problems, even though I personally don't think it should. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on that part of the chapter. By the way, this panel of Big Mom landing in front of the cake was actually pretty dope. Like, she really does look so savage with the fire in her hair, being all skinny and the fire on her sword and all of that type of stuff. I just wish she had a bit more depth while she was in that form, other than all of her dialogue just being wedding cake for the entire time. But yeah, one important thing that I do want to mention is that I think Capone's ship has been destroyed as well, meaning that he needs another way to get off of this island, and it will be really interesting to see how he does that. Whether he joins up with the Straw Hats or someone else, who knows. But yeah, the rest of the chapter basically focused on Sanji and Luffy as they've caught up with the rest of the crew, and they're all trying to escape from Big Mom's forces, and they're completely surrounded right now. They actually got surrounded twice this chapter, the first time being when Smoothie caught up to them and started firing on their ship, but then they were ultimately saved by Judge, which actually led to what could have been a really interesting bit of dialogue between Judge and Luffy. Judge was talking to Luffy and basically shitting on Sanji the entire time, calling him a failure of the Germa, asking Luffy why he cares about him so much and why he risks his life to save such a failure, saying that Sanji is good for nothing except for cooking and that he's useless, his emotions get in the way of everything, he has a weak mind, all of that kind of stuff. And the reason why I said that this could have been really interesting as opposed to it being really interesting is that I feel like Oda kind of wasted this opportunity, because After all of that shit talk from Judge, all Luffy really did was say thank you for saving us, instead of responding to all of Judge's negative talk about Sanji. Like, I really do feel like this was a wasted Nakama moment, because we always have people in the crew talking so highly about Luffy to his enemies, saying about how, oh, Luffy will definitely win, Luffy's our captain, Luffy will be Pirate King, Luffy this, Luffy that. Like, they speak so highly of him whenever someone talks down on Luffy. Yet when Judge was so blatantly talking down on Sanji, Luffy didn't really respond to that. Oda could have used that moment as a way to give Sanji some type of hype in a way, or use this as a way for Luffy to verbally show his faith and love for his crewmates to someone that is speaking down on his crewmates, if that makes sense. But instead he just thanked him for saving them. I really do think it would have been a much better scene if Luffy gave Judge that speech, or gave him that talk to hopefully make him realize his mistakes, if that makes any sense. But yeah, the second time that they got saved this chapter was by the fishmen, when they were completely surrounded with Daifuku and Smoothie attacking them, as well as a whole nother fleet from in front of them. Like, they were completely surrounded, and Wadatsumi and the rest of the fishermen stepped in and saved the day. And I think the only thing that I actually found interesting about that situation was Daifuku, to be honest with you. Like, yeah, it was good to see the fishermen again, but I do think it was really predictable. Like, a lot of us always knew that the fishermen were going to come back and save the day at some point, we just didn't know exactly when. And the way that they saved the day didn't really have as much wow factor as a lot of people expected it to, which is why I feel like it was a bit underwhelming. But yeah, as I was saying, the thing that I found most interesting was the Daifuku situation. The size of the genie that his devil fruit conjures was way bigger than it was the last time we saw it. And I think that this is even more of a hint as to what Smoothie's powers actually are, because a while ago we actually saw Smoothie growing bigger and bigger and bigger, right? And then now when Daifuku's genie gets bigger as well, he said that it was because Smoothie is now finally in range of his power as well. So I feel like she has the ability to enlarge things somehow. I'm not really too sure how that works itself into her moveset, but it seems like that's the case. And I really did find that interesting. It would really be dope to see how she would fight alongside someone like Katakuri with his Dice Mochi or Peerless Donuts, like how she would enlarge them to make them more powerful as well. But yeah, it was pretty dope to see that. Overall, yet again, I think this was a decent chapter. I don't think it was amazing, but I don't think it was bad by any means either. It was just a decent chapter. I do hope that chapter 900 really does blow our minds though, especially if this is what Oda has been saving all of this build up for. So yeah, I'm just waiting on chapter 900 right now. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this chapter in the comment section down below. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? And what were your favorite moments? Also, leave a like on the video if you did, and subscribe if you haven't already for more of that One Piece content. And I'll see you guys in the next video. One.